Some days the inspiration isn't there. You don't know what to do. You bring your camera around, but it's not really happening, and you don't know how to regain that inspiration. So today I will give you a few tips on what you can do with a little challenge on how to do it. My name is Morten Albek. I'm a professional photographer and I am a street photographer, but I'm also a photojournalist. Welcome to the channel. You can sign up for new episodes by hitting the bell below, and you can also subscribe to my newsletter about photo workshops and follow my blog and articles on the website. And if you sign up for that newsletter, then there are free stuff like free presets for Capture One and Lightroom. But let's dig into it. When I lack inspiration, and we all do that from time to time, we don't go to that family thing where we can take pictures of people, we don't go to any markets or something like that because you don't feel for it. But you have to force yourself in between. So grab your camera, bring it, and give yourself this little challenge, which I did the other day, because I want to keep my eyes and brain sharp. I want to keep that memory muscle sharp and alive when I bring my camera. I want to keep it all sharp when I need it, when I really feel the inspiration. So taking your camera out on days where you actually don't feel for it is actually a really good idea. So I had that one day last week when my wife had to visit a friend, and I knew I had to wait for a little more than an hour. So I parked my car in the city while my wife was away, and then I decided to use that 1 hour. And that was a limited time I had, because then I had to pick her up again. And I decided to take a walk around the city. And it is limited what you can do within an hour. So my challenge for myself was simply take the camera, capture as many pictures I can within that hour, and that was it. I didn't put any restriction on, but you can do that. I usually shoot with a 50mm lens, and that's it. You can also use a 35mm, but I use the 50mm most of the time. So you could put that in as a limitation, because limitations actually sparkle your imagination. It lifts your ability to create things. And I know some people say, oh, if I need a 35mm in this situation and a 50 in this situation, then I have to swap. And I actually think you shouldn't. You should just stick to that one lens for that day or for that hour, because then you train your brain to see the images within that framing. So maybe you are mostly for the 35, I'm mostly for the 50, and so it is. But set your camera on either black and white if you shoot JPEG, or in color, or you can shoot both RAW and JPEG side by side, so you have the options to switch between maybe black and white and JPEG and RAW, where you can use the colors. I usually do that, but the main thing here is to bring that camera, use that 1 hour to capture as many pictures as you can, and it is not about that you're ending up with 10 spectacular images. If you get one good shot, or maybe even 5 decent or good shots, then you have a success. But you also have a success if you actually don't get any really good shots. And I know that sounds a little stupid to say, literally, because why the bother to go out and not hitting anything? It is a little bit like people going hunting or fishing or anything else. They don't necessarily caught or shoot anything, but they had a good time in that 1 hour or that morning or that day when they went out in nature or whatever they did. And you will have one good hour in the city or in the forest, what you prefer. Also, if you don't hit a lot, it isn't necessarily about getting great captures every time, because that's impossible. We get what we get, but we get it if we train it. We get less if we don't train it. So I use that 1 hour to exercise, walking slowly around town. I didn't have any specific things in mind, just using that 1 hour, looking at people, looking at situations, seeing what I could grab.
And some of them wasn't great shots. There was a man standing waiting for the tram, and I wanted, he was a character, and I wanted to take that picture of him, but he constantly walked away from me, so I had to try to sneak a little closer to him. And I got one picture, but still on a distance. I really wanted, if I had been in the right mood, I had gone closer to him. I had got that picture, and I haven't worried so much about what he thought about me. But on that day, my mood wasn't for that. So I ended up with this picture, and I think it's okay. It's not great, but it's an okay shot, and not something that I would put in the bin, but also not a really great shot. So I walked around there, and I also watched people walking in and out in stores, not really interesting, a little boring, but I just kept on using that 1 hour for that purpose instead of giving up and going and grab a coffee or something. You can do that if you want that, if the mood really isn't there, but it's a really good idea to try to force yourself to continue, because you also train your mindset when you're doing that. So I continued, and I watched that guy, I think it was a Walt or something, a delivery guy for food, and he was resting. I was actually on the opposite side of where I ended up taking the picture, but I didn't like the background, and I was a little, does he begin to notice me? So I walked around to see if there was a better angle, and then I found a better angle, and I took this picture of him with the right attitude at the moment, and I think that is a decent picture. Again, it's not world-class, revolutionary or something, but it is a nice picture of somebody in town taking a rest after maybe some hard working hours. And that's a fair picture to bring home in just 1 hour. Sometimes you will get that really good shot within the first 10 minutes when you walk. It can also happen after a full day, or if you attend a workshop of mine, it can happen the second day, at the end of the day. I guarantee you will probably get some good shots anyway if you constantly photograph in 2 days and are aiming for it. Then something will happen if you seek it. I think it's like a striker in a football match or something. If you constantly strive for it, you might have several misses. You will have several opportunities that you really doesn't feel will go in. And then there's that one lucky punch, and it's there. And that's the same with photography. That's the way I approach it. I try to find the moment. I try to wait for it. And when I have more time than that 1 hour, I will wait for a longer time if I find a good location with the right light, interesting people passing by, or I just can see this is a good scenery. Then I just wait for it on a corner or wherever it is. But here I have that the 1 hour limit, and I want to push that onto you. Try to take 1 hour out of your scheme and just use 1 hour, and that's it. Of course, you can do what you want, but that's just a way to do it. Use that 1 hour, walk around, see what you can capture. So I just kept that route in mind, and I had to go back to the car before the parking limit was passing out. You can't say that, can you? Ending is the right word. I don't think anyone else than people and animals are passing out, not cars. But anyway, so I had that 1 hour limit because I had to pick my wife up again. And I just chose a route, trying to find something of interest. And it was a dull weather. There was not many people in town, but still a good exercise to go, because sometimes that also challenges you. What can you look for if there's not that many people? Because sometimes it gives you a lot of inspiration if a lot of things are happening, but that's also kind of an easy catch, where you really try and train your photographic muscle and brain is when it is difficult. And I'm not saying it have to be difficult all the time, but this is what trains you sometimes. So sometimes if you have that leftover hour or two, then use it to go out and grab your camera and grab some pictures as much as you can. Go home if you want to edit them, or you just shoot JPEG and don't need a lot of editing. That doesn't matter. It's about doing it. It's actually about taking that camera out It shouldn't be sitting up on a shelf. It should actually be used, and you should be used. So that's my little challenge for you to once, just this week, find 1 hour to go out, see how many pictures you can capture, and don't feel like it's a failure if you doesn't get those wonderful shots that you hope for when you go out. Maybe you're not in the mood, but you still bring your camera, and then the mood can come to you when things happen. It's also that way around. Sometimes we're really inspired and have a lot of energy and want to take some great pictures and end up disappointed because reality is reality and you cannot change that. So it doesn't matter how inspired you feel, how much energy you have when you go out. And if nothing happens, well, you can't capture it. You can't capture nothing. It isn't worth it. And so it is. So sometimes you will get home with nothing. And at other times it's the opposite way around. You go out, you don't feel for it, but you put that little thing over your shoulder, you bring it around, and suddenly it's there. And then the mood comes, because that is what sparkles the energy when you have that great capture that gives you that emotion and great feeling. So grab your camera, use just 1 hour, see how much you can get, and do that in between, because then you keep the energy, you keep the flow, you keep your mind on photography, and that's all worth of it. Thank you for watching this little episode, and sign up for the newsletter, sign up for the channel, go to my blog and website and see what happens there, including workshops around Europe. I would love to inspire you too on a walk around a great city in Europe. Hi Daisy. So that's it. The cat ended the story.